got him!
I think that there's one message I would want to convey, is that no matter what you face or are dealing with in life, no matter how impossible it seems, nothing is impossible for God. God is a miracle working God. And God loves you. My first name is Daniel. Last name is Contreras. Fresno, that's where I was born. And then we moved to San Jose as a family back in 1963. So I was about 4 years old. I grew up on the east side, right there by King and Story, actually. Seeing what my mom and dad went through, and my dad was pretty kind of violent. My dad was locked up as well. He was in prison. I think that once I became like 13, 14, no one was going to put their hands on me anymore. Actually, my whole family, our siblings, we were involved in, drugs and being incarcerated. I don't think any one of my brothers so much really got involved in when they were locked up in the gangs or stuff like that. I think I was the only one, actually.
Let's not get it twisted. You cannot help yourself.
I've used drugs intravenously, vast amounts of drugs that I injected into my body. I've been through a lot in my life. Growing up, I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I've been beat over the head with crowbars.
Okay, this is where I was, right here. I got shot by a 38. I was actually doing a crime. I already got convicted and did the time for it, so right here, and another time I was shot from right here and came out through here 2 times. And then this is where I was, when I was in the penitentiary, New Year's Day, 1980. I got stuck right here with the piece and went really close to my lungs. It barely hit them.
I've been in very bad situations where I should have died numerous times.
I was doing some bad things out in the neighborhood. I got hit with a beer bottle right here. So those are some, and actually I got teeth now, but I actually got them knocked out in a car accident, and then another time I was jumped in Southern California, and they knocked out all my teeth up here. So I'm physically, I'm a miracle to be alive.
It was in 1994, September 16. Actually, I went in for a physical, and I remember the doctor looked at me and he said, "Have you ever taken an HIV test?" And I said, "No." He said, because I was pretty thin and I have tattoos on my body. So he said, "Why don't you take one?" I said, "Okay." So I did. 2 weeks later is when they called me up and said they needed to talk to me personally for me to come in. And that's when they told me that I was diagnosed with full-blown AIDS, not HIV. And they said I had maybe 6 to 3 months to live because I was on the latter stages of the virus, and I had it in my system already for almost 10 years. So that was in 1994 when I found out. I thrived upon vast amounts of drugs that I injected into my body. I think the first thing was, what about my wife? Because we were married only a year. And that's the first thing that hit me.
I first met my husband, gosh, I don't know, 25 years ago.
about 25 years ago. He was in the men's home, but I didn't talk to him then. So I actually, it's funny.
Yeah.
I actually started talking to him once he graduated from the men's home.
And here's the thing, in our recovery homes, you have guys that will come and then go right back. And then come and then go right back.
The men's home is a rehabilitation home for men that my husband went into. It took him 4 years to graduate because he was a hard hit.
It almost feels like being in that lifestyle, you figure this is your lot in life, and so you got to do the best you can and be the worst or be whatever. And so that's my mindset. I was like, I'm more than a survivor, and I'm never going to be, victimized. So I'm going to do what I got to do, and that's what you do. By the time you know it, years go by, and guess what? You're still incarcerated. Not even starts to set in to where you start to see, well, this is my lot in life. I got to make the best out of it. But that lifestyle was not good. Eventually you're like, man, I need to change. You don't know how, but it's like it gets old.
At first, when we first found out, he was still working, so that was okay. After about a year of him working, he started to feel sick, and he started getting sicker and sicker and sicker.
Well, when I was sick, that was before they came out. So I was literally on my deathbed, right? And it wasn't the medications that brought me back. It was the Lord. It was God that touching my life and starting to bring wholeness physically to my life. And then my 2 boys being born negative, which is a miracle in itself. And so that's really, really, that's not natural. It has to be supernatural. You can have willpower and say, I refuse to die. And that does help some, but, sicknesses and diseases, that's what they will kill you. And so for me to be alive and actually being here to be able to talk to you, it's a miracle. It's a miracle, because I should have been dead. Should have died. I was weighing 80 pounds, 75 pounds. Pneumocystis in my lungs, which is like a pneumonia. And in fact, that's the number one thing that was, people were dying from AIDS because of the pneumocystis. And so I had that. I had ulcers in my throat, in my lips. I couldn't eat. And I was so tired I couldn't walk. Losing weight, what they call it is wasting. And so those are the physical aspects. But in getting up every day and going and looking in the mirror, and all you see is death. So the rejection hurts tremendously. The rejection from sometimes even your own close friends, family. And it's because of lack of knowledge, because they're afraid that they're going to get it. But if anything, the ones that have the virus are the ones that need to be leery of being around you, because if you're sick, then because the immune system is so deficient, then I could get sick with the common cold and die, because I have no immune system to fight it. So that rejection, really weighs physically, mentally, emotionally. I've been through a lot, and I'm clothed in my right mind. I have a future, a destiny, where my destiny should have been just being incarcerated for the rest of my life. So you're looking at a miracle, that there's nothing impossible for God. No matter what your situation is, I don't care what it is. I'm a living example that the end is never really the end. Everything isn't ministering and helping people, especially that come from my lifestyle. And I'm believing that what we're doing here, that somehow, somewhere, it's going to affect somebody into making a life change, in their lives and their choices. And so that's and I want to thank you guys for, for this coming about. I really, really, really want to thank you.